So we've lived in survival mode. The whole coming out, being gay, being queer is a trauma in itself, but there's a deeper trauma because you, at one point in your life, you didn't feel safe enough to share that with anybody. And maybe you've lived with that for years and years and years and years, and that builds up, right? And you don't trust other people. So then when someone does something small, it can become a huge thing. So there are a lot of people in the queer community who have unresolved trauma, are in survival mode, and are just being reactive to the situations that are happening to them. And so so what does that mean for us? It means that hurt people will hurt people. And so there may be this thing of like queer people hurting other queer people. And
welcome to the Queer Quest podcast, your beacon of light and sprinkle of glitter in the queer community. I'm your host, Christiano Green, CEO and founder of Queer Quest and a transformation coach for queer individuals. And together, we're embarking on a journey of transformation. Each week, we bring you a new training topic or connecting with visionary queer leaders in healing and coaching. Diving deep into conversations that inspire growth, celebrate diversity, and empower you to live authentically. So wherever you are, settle in and let's get ready to unlock the vibrant potential within. This is where your quest begins.
hello, all you fabulous souls, and welcome to this week's episode of the Queer Quest podcast. I'm your host, Christiano Green, and we're going to be talking today about friendships in the queer community. How do we make them? Why do we struggle making them? What are the myths that we need to talk about? And if you get some value out of today, what I would really love for you to be able to do for us is to share this, is to like, is to comment, is to review. Because this topic is something I think is super important for so many of us to understand and talk about. You doing any of those things is going to boost the algorithm, it's going to send it to the right people, and you're going to do your part in being a friend to other people in the queer community. So let's jump in. I know personally from my own experience, and of course speak to so many of you out there about the struggles that you have as queer people, gay people, trans people, all of the things, that sometimes making real, authentic, genuine friendships within the queer community can be really quite tough. I've had my own journeys and experiences throughout my close to, 15, 20 years of being openly out as a queer person. I've struggled at times making any kinds of friends. I remember very, very vividly that around the time when I was coming out, I had zero friends. I was isolating myself. I was extremely lonely. I pushed other people away. So I was dealing internally with something really quite traumatic. That was quite a huge thing for me. I thought it was going to blow up my entire life. And it could be the catalyst for me ending my life as well. Because there were 70 days where I felt like it was the end of the world. And because of this, where I grew up, there was no other people that were openly queer. So it was very difficult for me to connect with other people, to talk to other people, to feel like I could share a part of myself with someone else who could then give me some advice. So I kept it all in. And then when I went to, come out, I had to push myself to literally drive an hour and a half away from where I live to a bigger city, to then go out and about amongst other gay and queer people to see if I could find my tribe. And to say that that was easy would be a lie. It was quite difficult. I had to push myself well outside of my comfort zone, outside of my general position. Because like I said, I had zero friends. I didn't have someone to come with me. I didn't have a support system. I did it all on my own. And it took a long time to really navigate that. And I met a lot of different people, and they came in and out of my life, because I met them, we connected, we would party together. But then outside of that, what was the real friendship? There wasn't always something there outside of the partying. And at that point, I was partying all the time. So sometimes you don't realize that for quite some time that you don't necessarily have the deeper things in common that actually sustain a long-term relationship and friendship. So for me, definitely throughout all of those years, I had a lot of different friendships. Mostly my close friends were with women, straight women, who a majority of my friendships are with. And it continues up until this day. That's the majority of them. And of course, I've been working deeply on that here with my mission and connecting to people out there. But it's still difficult to meet really genuine queer people who are on my level in the area that I live. And so, yeah, when you meet someone, you cherish that and you try to build upon it. And sometimes you realize it's very difficult because having someone meet you where you are at, when you're on your own journey of healing and growth, and sometimes maybe they are or they aren't, it's difficult because you see things in them that they can't see within themselves and vice versa. And some of those things are, red flags. And sometimes people, you get to know them a little bit, they guard themselves, and then, 6 months later, you find things out about them and about how they've been trying to treat you, and it can really throw you for a loop. So the question is why is it so damn goddamn hard to make queer friends? Now, this episode is your permission slip to find your people, your tribe. And of course, it's probably going to feel awkward. It's going to feel stressful. And you might feel shy and anxious or burnt out by past friendships. I know I am. I've just done some recent deeper healing around that. And around my own, whole things with other relationships that I have and related to myself. And I'm at a place where I'm really, really ready to find and meet more of my tribe. And I'm putting the effort out there to do that. So I really wanted to come on here because I'm talking about something that's genuinely I'm going through at the moment and working towards and excited about. And I've been doing my research and been thinking about it. And I've come up with some things here that I think are important for us to talk about. And one of those is why making friends with other queer people feels so hard for us. And the key thing that I can come up with at the top of that is trauma and be in survival mode. Because so many of us did not grow up in safe, affirming spaces. We had to hide. We internalized our feelings, our thoughts, our whole world. And when we do that, we don't let other people in, we push them out. Especially when we're dealing with certain things that are really difficult in a world that doesn't accept us fully. And the further back you go, the harder it can be, right? You have this struggle. And so you put up walls. And you may have been severely bullied. I was severely bullied in school, which is why I didn't have friends and I pushed people away so much. Severely bullied. You may have family traumas where your family did not accept you. In fact, they may have done things to the point where you actually were discarded from the family and you were fully rejected by them. You may have had struggles with other straight people where maybe you were physically or verbally attacked. And so because of that, these lead lasting traumas in our lives, in our memories, in our nervous system, within our bodies. And just because we, try to move forward and we try to forget about these things, doesn't mean that they are forgotten. Because in this life that we live as queer people and people in general, our experiences are remembered. The feelings that we've gone through can be remembered and stored in our body because oftentimes when you go through a traumatic experience, you have certain, feelings towards it. Sometimes you then try to immediately move on. You try to push it away because it's so painful. Or you automatically have this thing that's post-traumatic stress disorder where you might get a certain trigger. And because of those triggers down the track, you're going to have this stressful response. And in those stressful responses, you go into you as a young child. And then whether that means that you go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, those things can happen on a normal basis. And so sometimes your reactions to certain situations can really go out of proportion, but it's because you've gone to yourself as a 6 or 7-year-old and you're chucking a tantrum around being hurt. And sometimes that means that you lacked out at other people or other people lacked out at you when they're going through that as well. Now, I've been around many, many people in the queer community who have completely lost it at me. And I feel like they've either really come for me, they're trying to really intimidate me, or even worse, berate me into having an argument so that maybe they can feel right and just for the way that they acted. And I can't say that I'm innocent in this as well, because I know there have been times when I've lashed out at other people out of trauma, out of triggers, out of unfilled parts of myself. And I did that as because, sometimes when we are treated a certain way, that's the behavior that we learn as well, how to communicate, how to affect with other, to connect with other people. And so again, oftentimes the people that hurt us the most are not the people that deal with the repercussions of it. They get to hurt you and walk away scot-free often. Whereas you live with the trauma. And then oftentimes people who become close to you or around you, or you feel maybe, like, for example, when it comes to like, you've been really, really, really attacked for being gay or queer, right? You then have this, you can then build up a notion of what, of other gay and queer people, and you can then left that out onto those people. That's something that happens. That's a common thing that people will do. And
Are you ready to embark on a journey of transformation that's uniquely yours? Welcome to QueerQuest, the world's first and best personal development platform created by and for the queer community. Imagine a space where your authenticity isn't just accepted, it's celebrated. A place where you can grow, learn, and thrive alongside a vibrant community that understands you. At QueerQuest, we're more than just a platform. We're a family. Connect with like-minded individuals, share your stories, and empower each other to reach new heights. Our tailored courses are designed to address the unique experiences of the queer community, from self-love and confidence building to career advancement and beyond. We've got you covered. It's time to step into your power and transform your journey. Join us today at courses.queerquest.vip, see what we're all about, and sign up to begin your quest.
so we've lived in survival mode, the whole coming out, being gay, being queer is a trauma in itself, but there's a deeper trauma because you, at one point in your life, you didn't feel safe enough to share that with anybody. And maybe you've lived with that for years and years and years and years, and that builds up, right? And you don't trust other people. So then when someone does something small, it can become a huge thing. So there are a lot of people in the queer community who have unresolved trauma, are in survival mode, and are just being reactive to the situations that are happening to them. And so so what does that mean for us? It means that hurt people will hurt people. And so there may be this thing of like queer people hurting other queer people. And then when you're trying to build friendships with someone who's unhealed, or you're unhealed and there's two unhealed people, it doesn't usually end with this mismatch of really great friendship. Of course it can. Anything can lead to a possible great friendship, but the ingredients there may make the situation sour. So I think from that, all of the wounding that you had from past friendships, maybe in high school, you had cliques, you felt left out, or even with other people in the queer community, you've had situations where, you've had wounds from those friendships. They're going to play a part in how you are with other friendships. Maybe you put more guard up. Maybe you're more like straight up with what people want, and you have these high expectations of people, and people can't live up to them. And it causes an ongoing neutral. So these are some key reasons why making friends with other queer people can be really hard, and especially when it comes to finding a tribe, because there's this mismatch of that. There's also this big myth around queer spaces and how queer spaces equal instant friendship, and how because we're part of one big, massive rainbow community, that means we're all going to be friends with each other. And in reality, that's just not the case. Again, there has to be a really a great formula where the ingredients on each side map quite well with the other ingredients for it to become, a really solid friendship. Otherwise, again, sometimes these friendships that are formed early on are around situations, the situational tips, meaning for me specifically, a lot of my friendships with other gay and queer people were around, we like to party together. So we would like to go and drink together and get on the drugs together and party and all those things, right? When I did that, years and years ago. And that was how a lot of my friendships were formed. Because, you're out about, and you're off the face, you're living your best life, you're laughing, carrying on, and having a great time. And that's where the majority of your interactions are. But when it comes down to those times where maybe you need to talk to someone about something a bit deeper, or, you're going through something at that time and you need a bit of support, they're not there. Or if you make a change in your life where maybe you're like really healthy, I'm not going to go out, I'm not going to do these things anymore, and you contact some of your friends to do something maybe sober, they don't pick up, or they don't respond, or they're busy, because your friendship was built around a situation. And now that could be many different, differential like variations of that. But I think if you can understand what I'm saying, you might understand that some of your friendships that you've had in the past were situations like being in the same school, being in the same sports team, being part of the queer community, going out partying, like at the same career or job, right? You meet people around you and you form connections with them, But if you take that layer away, not all of these people remain good friends with you throughout your life. And that's okay sometimes, right? But again, good talking about it, that the myth that, everyone in the queer community is part of one big rainbow family and we're all friends. I think if that leads you to feel left out and disappointed when it doesn't happen for you, because it doesn't happen for most people. Most people don't walk into a space and are friends with absolutely everybody. It's just not normal. And if you are one of those people who is, amazing, congratulations. And I think you're one very, very busy person, because if you're truly friends with all these people, you probably have no time, right? Because it takes a lot of time to continue a truly good friendship as well, And then we on top of that, all of the internalized shame that is carried around being queer or gay or like wherever you fall within the community, you can get into the cycle of comparing yourself to your friends, comparing your life to them, comparing the hookups to them, comparing all of this stuff, and then you feel left out. I mean, you feel left out or less than. Then the friendship is equal. There's a high level of jealousy within a friendship. It's not here and here. It's you putting this person on the pedestal. You're here. You're looking up to them, and you're feeling like they're looking down to you. That can cause an energy shift. So really, finding friendships where there isn't the jealousy there isn't the also about the attraction on one side, it can be very, very difficult, right? Because a lot of people out there hook up with their friends or have hooked up with people and then they become friends. And sometimes that can lead to great things within the friendship, or sometimes it can lead to, like I said, jealousy, comparison, attraction on one side, which then makes the balance of the friendship uneven sometimes. And again, these are reasons why making friends within the queer community can feel really, really kind of hard. Now, I also want to touch on kind of the different kinds of friendships that we can have with other queer people, and especially ones that people are craving for. Because again, not every friendship is going to be the same. You're going to have friends where you really want to, have a lot of fun with. You want to have a friend who you can be even supportive with. We'll have somebody who's going on a journey of healing and growth and personal development. We can talk about that, things like that. So I want to talk about the different kinds that we have here. So I want to talk about 5 for us today, because I think that these are the key ones that we can all see in someone that we know. And number 1 is the deep soul mirror. This is the friend that really sees you beyond your words, sees you beyond your actions. This is a person who truly understands your soul and is probably quite a spiritual person. You may connect on that part of it, or they're helping you to open up yourself to more of that as well. And you feel seen by this person. And yes, you may have had experiences where, you're not yourself initially, or you lash out. They see beyond your actions and behaviors, and they see the real person behind you. And when you see this person, and they also help see you to see yourself for truly who you are, they're a friend to honor, right? Because they see past all of the baggage and all the BS, right? They see you for truly who you are. And everyone deserves to have a friend like that. And again, I'm blessed to have had people in my life who are like that in the past for me, and who are like that for me now as well. That's the kind of friendships that I'm looking for as well. The next one is what I would call the playful chaos gremlin. This is the friend that you will have so much fun with, that you have so much joy with, that you have an abundance of nonsense and joking and humor and tricks and pranks and all of the things that you can do with people. It's a lot of playful banter. This person is the friend that when you hang out with them, it's like the blind leading the blind. Who's the person who's going to lead you down the rabbit hole and take you on that adventure? Maybe it's the party friend you go out with, and you say you're just going to have a quiet dinner, and you're going to have one glass of wine, and then you end up being out till 7 a.m. the next morning together, really living your best life. I've had many of these kinds of friendships in my life. I'm grateful to still have a couple of those ones hanging around as well, because these are the friends that, like I said, that you can just let loose with when you really just want to, forget about the struggles or the stress of day-to-day life, that you can go out with and just live it up and live life, right? Which these are people that we all need to have in our life as well. The next one is the growth buddy. Now, these people are on that journey of healing and growth, and you've got alignment in that. You are seeing things happen for them, and they inspire you. You inspire each other. You might share books that you're reading, and you talk about those books together. You might go to certain events. You might listen to the same podcast. You've got a lot of similar interests when it comes to growth and healing. And sometimes you might go and do like a yoga retreat together or go to a healing, energy healing, a sound healing, something like that. A friend that you can do and share that side of yourself with. And that's important because, again, sometimes this healing and growth journey can feel quite lonesome. And it's only when you put yourself out there to truly, you know, do it, then you realize that, not every single person in your life is going to stay with you as you grow and evolve into a different area. Because, this is life and friendships. We all go in different directions. Sometimes that zigzag, they come back and they meet. Sometimes they don't. And it's really, truly okay. And this is something I also want us to really understand. It's okay to normalize people coming in and out of our life. Not every single person needs to be with us for the entire journey. But we can be thankful for some people who were on the journey at the right time because they were there for you when you needed them in whatever way they were, and vice versa. And if you can leave each other better than you found each other, that means it's beautiful, a beautiful thing. There shouldn't always have to be a big, hard fight as to why you no longer are moving in the same direction as someone. But you can always maybe see them from afar, or you run into them and you can have so much love for them, but you're just going in different directions. So maybe you're no longer as close as with each other. And how you follow up with them in the future might just be following them on social media and seeing their life and clapping for them, because that's also good as well. But I just want us to realize that as well. Now we move on to the next kind of friendship archetype, and this is the safe space parent. This is the person that you feel like you can go to when you need to feel nurtured. You need emotional safety and support, and you can go to them and maybe like you can talk about what's going on there. They're going to give you the unfiltered advice. Sometimes they're really tactful, sometimes they're straight up direct. I like to be quite direct with how I am with my friendships as well, but I also like to also be aware of the person I'm speaking to, because I want to make sure that if I'm going to deliver them something that they need or they've come to me for, that they also receive it in a good way. Because again, some people really need different things. And that's the important thing about friendship, is knowing that not every friendship is going to be the same. It's going to be different. You're going to need to go a different side of yourself with different people. And that's also how you get to deeply know yourself as well, by having these kinds of friendships as well. So you might have someone who nurtures and is there for emotional safety. And then the final one is what I call the fear expander. This is the person who helps pull you into your excellence as a queer person. It helps you continue to question yourself as a human being on this journey and what it is that you were there for. And so this is deeply someone who is maybe them living their life so authentically helps you to really go, wow, like, here's what it looks like to be truly authentic. I want to get there. And maybe they're inspiration to you, or maybe you have these deep, topics that you talk about and discuss about life, the universe, spirituality, all of those things. That's someone that I think that is important to have as well. So those are the 5 key friendship archetypes that we have. And I'm going to repeat them. We've got the deep story mirror. This person who really sees you beyond your words and your actions. We've got the playful chaos gremlin, that person who's going to be there for all of the fun, the nuisance, the nonsense, the joy. Then you've got the growth buddy, someone who's there going on a healing and growth journey and has got goals, and you help inspire each other there as well. Then you've got the safe space parent for nurturing and emotional safety. And then finally, the queer expander, that's the person who's calling you into authenticity, your excellence, your truth as well. So why I'm mentioning this is because I want to ask you, which of these friendships are you craving right now? Because in building friendships, it's important to kind of know what you're looking for. Are you looking for the fun and the joy and the nuisance? Are you looking for the healing and the growth? Are you looking for the nurturing emotional support? Are you looking for someone to truly see you? And are you looking for someone who's maybe calling you to be your most authentic self? Because that is good, and that's going to help you navigate and create the kind of friendship that might feel important to you right now. Because again, you might be able to find someone who can meet a couple of these. This will be very difficult to meet someone who's going to be all 5 of these things there. And so knowing that and understanding that and also seeing that in other people and other friendships, you might also be able to go, I've already got 2 or 3 of those people already in my life. Wow, I haven't been aware of it because I've been expecting someone to be everything for me. And you might just be happy and content seeing that, but then also know that there's something that you're looking for and the kind of friendship that you want. So then you can go out and figure out, where would this person hang out? What they do? I want to start thinking about that. What are you craving right now and in a friendship? Now let's move on to the important topic of it today, which is how to actually know queer friends. Now, these are some practical and spiritual steps for you to call in people in your community. Now, I think a key thing about this is going on our own healing journey, healing your own stories, your own experiences, your own identity, and not focusing on stuff that doesn't serve you. If you're on that journey of healing and growth and you move forward, you're going to be able to navigate and you're going to be able to see in other people the things that necessarily they can't see or what you couldn't see before. Because when you open your eyes and you feel and you see the things that were in front of you before, you can see them in other people. And then you can really start to navigate and say, is this something that I really want to connect with? Is this going to build into something more meaningful? Or is this going to stay surface level forever? Because again, it all depends on what kind of friendship you're looking for. Then you kind of understand how you're going to navigate that, where you're at, what kind of friendship you offer, and how they match with other of those other archetypes as well. Important to be able to, when you've gone on that dating journey, lead with your own vulnerability and not with a performance, not trying to look like you're the star of the show. You're in a one-man band and everyone's here for for entertainment of you, right? You want to be able to be authentic and vulnerable because that's how you connect with other people. People connect with vulnerability. People connect with your story. People connect with your truth. But also they really want to connect with the fact that like you were struggling and now you've come out of that. And I'm not saying it's like that it's not okay to struggle because again, we all have different things to struggle with. But what I'm trying to say is that if if they can see that you are healing and growing and moving in the right direction, then calling in friendships that are like that are way more easier to do that because you can become vulnerable, they become vulnerable, and you open the space up for connection as well. Because that's really, truly what people connect to. They don't necessarily always remember everything that you said. Remember how you made them feel or how you left them feeling as well. And so important to note that with that, go where the energy is aligned. So if you know what kind of friendship you're looking for out of those archetypes, where do those kinds of queer people hang out? Do you have queer things in your space or online that you can attend that you're going to have the opportunity to meet people? Meaning queer parties if you're looking for joy and fun. Is there other queer events that are around? Is there online, support groups, online healing places, online personal development platforms? Queer Quest is one of those places. And we know people in the community who are building friendships because of their shared journey of healing and growth. And they had to be vulnerable to share their stories, but other people to connect with them. Because again, it's space for healing and growth. And they met other people in that journey. And that was what the kind of friendship that they were looking for. So again, navigated and knowing that there are definitely spaces out there for you to connect and meet with people, but you trying to sometimes connect and meet with anyone is going to leave you feeling rejected and maybe disappointed a lot more often because you're not necessarily knowing what you want and where to go for it. So again, knowing what kind of friendship you want and then looking where will those people hang out. Is it in person? Is it online? What kind of real things can we build here? That's the key thing as well. Whether it could be sports events, right? We might be into a sport and you go and join a queer sports team. One opportunity to meet new people that are going to be on your page, on your level, in real life as well. Now, another thing that's important for you in trying to build friendship is give before you get. Show up, support, reach out, offer assistance. Don't go into something looking what you can get from it, what you can take from this friendship. Be able to give first. Give to that person. Show up for them and do it without the need for expectations or anything in return. Because if you do it from love and a place of kindness and generosity, you're going to be able to then feel great about that. That person's going to probably feel good about the interaction. And there's this thing called the power of reciprocity. When you give something with no need for return, oftentimes the other person then in turn wants to do the same because they feel a great connection or they feel gratitude towards what you did. Again, a lot of expectations because not everyone's going to be on that page, on that level to receive things in that. Again, your healing journey, your growth journey. Not everyone's able to understand it. But oftentimes, as they go on that, people want to reciprocate. If you supported them, then they might want to say, look, let's catch up for lunch. I really love X, Y, Z, right? Or, whatever it could be. So give before you get. That's a key thing. Oftentimes, people miss this the most is they're looking for what they need. Offer what you can give. This is great in not only life, but in business and other opportunities as well. And don't wait for what I class as coolness. Connect with people who feel safe, not optima. You don't need to go and be like, okay, look, I'm walking into this club, that person, it looks like is the coolest person here. I'm going to try to be friends with you. Look around and see other people who maybe are sitting there and maybe, are observing like you or wanting similar things or, okay, I'm curious about that person. And then, if someone's on their own or, in a smaller group, it's easier for you to go in there and navigate and have a conversation without it being this big thing. But when you go over a big group, it's more difficult and there's more likelihood that you're not going to feel like you fit in there or that you want to do it. And then you're going to be like, oh, see those people over there, they weren't open to it. No, I'm not saying that they weren't open to it, but again, you've got a big group of friendships to allow together. Most times, again, they're all hanging out together. So going and finding other people who might be either, less, obvious. It might be a safer way for you to meet someone and to communicate and connect with them as well. And again, before you get. And then finally, a key thing is trust the slow burn. Excuse me. Real friendships, they take time. It's not something that happens overnight. And so I've been guilty of this many, many times. So I have wanted to have really close friendships with people, and then you meet someone, and you're like, okay, they're cool. And then you want to try to, meet up with them 5 times in the next 2 weeks. And it feels a bit like, you don't even know me yet, and you're giving, you're giving, or you're trying to take a lot. And so trust the slow burn. Let it build. If it's real, it will be real. And it doesn't need a time frame for it to get to real. It'll be there. And sometimes the slower burns, like the biggest things that you can cherish, because again, it wasn't, some big traumatic event or big thing that's pushed you to be together. It's all those small little things where you would see each other maybe once a week or twice a week, and then it builds up from there, and it's genuine and real because you've built something over a long period of time. So trust the slow burn. Don't expect everything to happen overnight, and just really take your time with those things as well. So what are some red flags and green flags to look out for when it comes to queer friendships? So these are things that I will try to look out for when I'm trying to make friendships or when I meet new people. One is gossip. Are they the kinds of people that want to gossip and talk about other people to you? Because to me, when it comes to my friendships with people, 99% of them are built on us and me and them talking about our lives, our businesses, our futures, what's going on, our stories, our backgrounds, the things that we share in common, the hobbies and that. Very little to do with anybody else, right? Sometimes if it's about someone else, it might be, someone sharing and needing some support about the situation they're going through, but it's not about gossip as in like, oh, did you see what that girl was wearing or any of that trash, right? It's literally friendship, our lives, and what's going on. Well, none of this performative roteness, trying to be something that I'm not. When I can see someone who I really kind of put on a performance to be a certain kind of way to show you that they're either cruel or X, Y, Z, then I'm like, this isn't authentic. This isn't real. And for me, that's a red flag, because if they're trying this, then oftentimes there's a level of insecurity there, meaning they're not secure in who they are, but they're putting on a performance, but so that they think that I'm going to see this performance as real and genuine. And that means that's going to make me like them and, enjoy their personality. Whereas again, you can tell when something's genuine and one's really performative as well. But sometimes it does take a little time to decipher. So don't feel bad if initially you think it's genuine, and sometimes you feel it later. But if you notice it and it doesn't vibe well with you, it's okay to say, cool, man, peace out, right? Next thing is emotional unavailability. Meeting someone who is emotionally not available to be a friendship, meaning that they either don't know how to connect to their emotions, they don't like it when you talk about their emotions, and you just don't generally feel supported or that you have a chance to even share and be vulnerable. That's not a safe space for me. And that's not a space that I like to be a part of. And so if I see these people, it's hard because, of course, I do want to support and help them, being a queer advocate, a queer coach, someone in this community is trying to push forward for that. But I also have to say, look, your journey is your own to go on. And I've noticed that many, many times every year where I've tried to pull someone along to get to them to hitting quicker, it doesn't go well. Someone has to be fully ready able and willing to go on that path. I will not drag someone. I will not pull them up by their bootstraps. I will be there to help you take the next step, but I won't be able to take it for you. That's where I get to. So that happens within friendships. If I don't see that I have a chance to be vulnerable or share, or that I'm going to get that, it's not a friendship that I'm looking for. It's a red flag for me. And then finally, there's cliquey energy where like, you might meet one or two people and then, you hang out with them and they've got a group of friends and it just feels cliquey and you don't feel like that you mesh well with that group or that they are even opening and warm and welcoming to having you in their group. I don't know, friends have many friends and sometimes they want you to turn up for their birthdays or other events in their life. Maybe it's something to do with their business. You can go there or you can meet their friendships and you can see them and be cool, whatever. Sometimes that means you can genuinely get to know new people and they may become your friends. Sometimes it's like, you know what? Because they're a different person, and my friend's a different person, and this person over here, they might connect, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to fully connect with them. I can be friendly and cool, but sometimes it doesn't mean it's going to lead to me being friends with them just because they're friends with my friend, right? And that's something that we also have to be aware of and understand that just because your friend have other friends doesn't mean they're going to be your friends as well. And vice versa, you can have friends that they don't necessarily gel with because you're just in different, you have friends, as you look at the 5 different archetypes, you have different friends for different reasons. And again, some will mesh well because they are good for that person, and some will not because they're not necessarily generally on your same page. So those are some of the red flags. Now, when I'm talking about the green flags, one is accountability. Someone who is accountable for themselves, their actions, their behaviors, their thoughts, their feelings, their words, all of those things. Maybe if they say something, they mean it. If they've said something hurtful and they know that that's hurt you, they can apologize and they can move forward and you can talk about things. And that's great. They also have, say, emotional generosity, meaning that they are vulnerable with you, they share with you. Also, they're inquisitive and wanting to get to know you and notice things within you, and they might ask questions as well. So you feel genuinely supported and they're generous, but maybe they're with their words, with expressing themselves. You feel like you know who you're getting when you hang out with them as well. They are cheerleaders, heart support. They root you on. When something's going good in your life, maybe you're going on a date, maybe you've got a new phone, maybe you're opening a new business, got a new career, whatever it is. They are there to support you in your life, and they hype you up. They're cheerleaders, and they generally feel good for you. So that's something important as well that I think is a real green flag. And then another key thing is that you shared similar values. Now, you don't have to share every single value the same because it's pretty rare to be able to find someone out there who is exactly the same, way of thinking for every single topic. But yeah, sharing values, sharing key things that are important to you. What's important in life, what you value in life, whether it's friendship, relationship, career, businesses, having a similar mindset is definitely a green flag as well. And again, I've talked about it. I'll mention it just again. Normalize outgrowing friendships as you grow into yourself. Knowing that, again, sometimes you might meet a friend and they're all in the green flags. And then later on, as you've grown down a different path, you realize there's some red flags. Maybe they've changed, you've changed. It's okay. Normalize outgrowing the friendships because that makes way for new and beautiful opportunities to meet new people as well. Now, I already mentioned QueerQuest before. It's a great community online. It's a space for healing, for growth, for transformation. QueerQuest Pro is a community built for queer people, by queer people. It's personal development, it's coaching, it's healing. We meet every single month. We focus on a different part of the queer wellness wheel of life. Every single part of your life, holistically, as a queer person, is something we touch on. And this is where a lot of people have connected there. And they also understand more about themselves. So they can really go out there and support themselves. So if that's something that you think might be important for you to look further into, I'm going to link that below because I think it's important for me to share that. Because again, it's helped me, it's helped people that I work with, and I would love to see that how it could show you how it could support you as well. Anyway, we have a workshop again that's coming up in a couple of weeks. If you're interested in maybe learning about that, this one's all about spirituality and energetic. So of course, we're going to talk about, energetic connections with other people as well. It might be something that, meets your fancy. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I just wanted to mention it as well. And so before I let you go, I really wanted to really ask you a question. What's one thing that you're going to do this week to pull in a new friendship, a new queer friendship? Now that you listened to today, it made you realize it makes sense why building friendships is hard. It also makes sense that I have to really understand what kind of friendship that I'm looking for. What is the friendship that I want right now that I'm trying to find? And, what are the red flags? What are the green flags? And what are some of the, actual tips that we've taken away in order for me to figure out how I can go out and meet a friend? So after listening to all of that, what's one thing that you're going to do this week to pull in a new queer friendship? Comment below, you know, tag me somewhere, whatever it is that feels good. I want you to really put it out there and do something about it as well. Now, that's it for this week. Of course, I'm going to be back here every single week with a new episode of the Quickest podcast. And again, if you could, do me a favor and like, subscribe, comment, share this with people out there. I just realized my hair's falling apart under this, but that's all good. You share that with people because, again, it's going to boost the algorithm and someone else is going to see this who really needs it because the topic today is important. If you don't know me already, you can follow me across all social media platforms. Christiano Green on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, of course, if you're listening to this wherever you are. Subscribe, follow, contact me. Let me help answer your questions. And I will be back next week with a brand new episode of the Queer Quest podcast. But until then, always remember that you've got this and I've got you. Bye for now.